You know how some secrets are meant to stay buried forever? The kind that everyone pretends never happened until one day they just don't stay buried anymore? Well, that's exactly what's happening right now with Meghan Markle's past. The whispers from her Toronto days, oh, they're back. And this time, they're coming from people who were there, who saw things they were never supposed to talk about. And guess what? They're finally breaking their silence. It all goes back to one unforgettable night in 2016. A night that, if rumors are even half true, could have changed everything. This wasn't just another glitzy, champagne-fueled Toronto evening. This was darker, messier, the kind of night that leaves scars, and apparently a royal or two in the middle of it all. Because word is Prince Harry and Princess Eugenie were both there. And whatever happened that night, it was dangerous enough that by sunrise, it had to be completely erased. The night that was never supposed to exist. Back in 2016, Meghan wasn't just another actress trying to make it big. Oh no, she was the woman in Toronto's elite Soho House circle. The insider everyone wanted to know, the one who could make things happen. If you wanted an invite to the right party, Meghan had your back. Needed to meet someone powerful, someone rich, someone who could open doors? She knew exactly who to call. And that night, the night now whispered about behind closed doors, started out just like one of her legendary gatherings. It was supposed to be small, intimate, exclusive. Just a handful of trusted people. No cameras, no press, no judgment. Meghan was hosting in a borrowed penthouse high above the city skyline, one of those ultra-modern spaces where money and secrecy go hand in hand. Harry was in town, still visiting in secret. Their relationship was new, electric, and dangerously private. And then, in walks Princess Eugenie. That's where things start to twist. When the fun turned to panic. The night began like any other. Champagne bubbles, soft music, laughter that lasted too long. But somewhere between the giggles and the glow, something shifted. Sources say Meghan stepped out, no one's sure why, maybe to pick up a few extras. But when she came back, the whole energy had changed. The laughter had turned tight. The smiles were forced. Someone, they say, looked terrified. What happened next has become the stuff of whispered legend. Raised voices, panic, a mess that spiraled faster than anyone could control. And then, the close call. Rumor has it the police almost showed up. Someone, maybe a neighbor, maybe building security, caught wind that something was off. And if law enforcement had actually arrived that night, oh, it would have been explosive. A British prince, a royal princess, and Meghan Markle, right at the center of it all. That would have been a scandal of royal proportions. Careers would have crumbled. The palace would have gone into meltdown, but somehow it never happened. Phones went dead. People vanished. By sunrise, the whole thing, the entire night, was gone, like it had never existed. The Queen of Toronto Night C, long before she became Duchess Meghan Markle was already royalty in her own right, just of a different kind. Soho House wasn't just her hangout spot, it was her kingdom. She moved through those rooms like she owned them. The staff adored her, the socialites respected her, and the city's power players, they needed her. She was magnetic, smart, gorgeous. But most importantly, she understood power. In that world, power wasn't about money or titles. It was about access. And Meghan had access like no one else. According to insiders, she was the ultimate connector, the one who made the impossible happen. When you wanted something special, you called Meghan. And what she could deliver? Well, let's just say it wasn't always just champagne and conversation. The rumor that won't die now? This is where the whispers get spicy. People who were part of those late-night Toronto scenes say Meghan wasn't just the host. She was the supplier. Not officially, of course. Nobody's using those words on record, but everyone's hinting, saying she was the one who could get whatever you needed to keep the night going. And that's what made her so valuable. Toronto's high society lived on secrecy, and Meghan was the woman who knew how to keep secrets and deliver pleasure without anyone getting caught. One insider said it best. She was the reason parties didn't end. She made sure everyone always had what they wanted. It wasn't just a rumor. People remember specifics, like the Jamaica wedding to her first husband, Trevor Engelson, where she supposedly showed up with over 100 pre-rolled joints, each one perfectly wrapped like party favors. That was Meghan's style. Always one step ahead, always making the night unforgettable. And if that's true, if she really was the go-to person for the extras, then that 2016 night with Harry and Eugenie might not have been an accident at all. It might have just been business as usual, until everything went wrong. The prince who needed to escape. Harry wasn't looking for a savior when he met Meghan. He was looking for someone who understood him, someone who didn't make him feel like a disappointment, and that's exactly what Meghan gave him. The palace could never do that. The expectations, the scrutiny, the comparisons to William, all of it weighed him down. But with Meghan, he could breathe. Insiders say she didn't scold him about duty or image. She let him be wild, raw, reckless, the Harry beneath the titles. She didn't try to fix his restlessness. She matched it. And for a man who'd spent his whole life being told what to do, that was irresistible. Their nights in Toronto were wild, yes, but they were also intimate, secret, safe, free. Meghan created those spaces for him where there were no cameras, no royal aides, no judgment. It's what bonded them so quickly, that sense of rebellion, of freedom. But freedom comes with risks, and on that infamous night in 2016, with Eugenie there and chaos brewing, those risks came dangerously close to destroying everything. You know that moment when something so shocking happens, everyone in the room just knows it can never see the light of day? That's exactly what insiders say went down after that 2016 night in Toronto. Because when whispers began spreading that Princess Eugenie had been there, yes, an actual royal princess, everything changed. What was once a private mess suddenly became a royal emergency. A princess in the wrong place. Harry and Eugenie had always been close, childhood friends who understood each other's strange royal burdens. Both were born into privilege, but also into pressure, always reminded that they were the extras, not the heirs, not the important ones, just the supporting cast in the royal show. That night, it's said Harry trusted her enough to bring her into Meghan's world. Maybe he thought it would be fun. Maybe he wanted Eugenie to meet the woman who'd stolen his heart. Maybe he wanted to show her he could finally be himself outside the palace. But if the rumors are true, that choice nearly blew up the entire monarchy. The palace's hidden hand. By late 2016, Meghan and Harry's relationship was getting serious. Palace insiders were already preparing for what seemed inevitable, that the prince was going to marry the actress from Suits. But to make her royal ready, the past had to go. So the Toronto chapter, as one royal insider allegedly called it, was scrubbed clean. Every inconvenient story, every risky connection, every person who might remember something too vividly, all of it disappeared. In its place, the world was given a new Meghan Markle, the humanitarian, the feminist, the actress with a big heart and a perfect smile. That's the Meghan who walked into Kensington Palace, polished, spotless, and seemingly untouched by scandal. The other Meghan, the one who'd ruled Toronto's night scene, had been quietly buried. Trevor Engelson's silence. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Before Harry, there was Trevor Engelson, Meghan's first husband, a Hollywood producer who thought he knew her better than anyone. But people close to that relationship say Trevor never saw the whole Meghan. She showed him just enough, the charming, ambitious version, but kept the rest of her world sealed tight. After the divorce, he got his rings back by mail, along with a clean break and total silence. But here's the thing, Trevor was around during those Toronto years. He saw things, he knew people, and yet, in all these years, he's never said a single word about any of it. Why? Some say it's dignity, that he's just not that kind of man. Others believe it's something deeper. Whispers claim there might be agreements, quiet understandings, that keep him from ever speaking publicly. That his silence might not just be noble, it might be necessary, because if Trevor ever decided to talk, he could fill in all the blanks the world's been guessing at. A woman of many worlds. The Meghan people think they know, the charming duchess, the compassionate activist, isn't the only version that's ever existed. She's a master of compartments. People who knew her from Suits describe her as warm, relatable, funny, the friend who'd bring cupcakes to set, who remembered birthdays, who felt real. But the Meghan who reigned over Toronto's elite social scene? She was different, commanding, calculated, in control of every detail. She wasn't playing the room, she was running it. One former friend said, she could read you in seconds, know what you wanted, what you feared, what she could get from you. That ability made her powerful, and as it turns out, dangerous, because she could shapeshift depending on who she was with. With Harry, she was the calm in his chaos. With the Toronto elite, she was the chaos itself. And with Hollywood, she was the star who glowed just bright enough to blind you. Why the whispers are back. So why are people talking now after all these years? Simple. The silence doesn't serve them anymore. Many of Meghan's former friends say they stayed quiet out of loyalty, or fear, or maybe even admiration. But then she left Toronto, left them, left everything. And in the process, she rewrote history. She built a brand on being the misunderstood heroine, the victim of royal cruelty, the woman who rose above it all. But the people who knew her before are watching that story play out and thinking, wait a minute, that's not the Meghan we remember. They remember the hostess who ruled the night, the woman who knew how to get what she wanted, and the one who made problems disappear as easily as she made connections. Now that her perfect image is cracking, after the Netflix deals, the podcasts, the documentaries, and the constant public scrutiny, those old friends are asking themselves, why am I still protecting her? And some have decided they're not. The dam's starting to crack. You can feel it, that low hum of tension in the air. The gossip circles in Toronto are waking up again. One whisper leads to another. One "remember that night" turns into a dozen more. And now the story that was buried is starting to claw its way back. People are realizing they're not alone, that others remember too. And with safety in numbers, silence starts to feel less sacred, and the truth starts to feel like power. Because when secrets this big start to resurface, they don't just ruin reputations. They rewrite history, a dangerous legacy. If this 2016 story ever fully breaks, if even a single person from that night decides to come forward with proof, it wouldn't just embarrass Meghan and Harry. It could destroy everything they've built. Their brand, the authentic love story, the couple who escaped royal oppression, depends on innocence, on being misunderstood, not reckless. But if this story goes public and the allegations about what happened that night are proven true, it's over, because no one would see them as victims anymore. They'd see them as architects of their own downfall. And the palace? It would go into crisis mode again, forced to explain why it ever allowed Meghan into the family in the first place. It would open old wounds, ignite new wars, and drag every royal PR team back into the mud.